For the last 70 years? Wow. That line right there, that's the hook. That is the chilling foundation for a ghost story that has absolutely captivated people online. It's got everything, right? Dread, a creepy tradition, and a terrifying promise that something awful is about to happen. So today, we're not just going to tell you this story. Nope. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to pull out the toolbox and take it apart piece by piece to really understand what makes it tick. We're deconstructing the Bhutia Barat, or the ghostly wedding procession, from the YouTube channel Spooky Toonwalla. All right, so here's the game plan. We'll start with the legend itself. Then, we'll look at the really universal fears it taps into. We'll meet its classic characters, break down the terrifying climax, and finally, explore why these stories are just so powerful in our digital age. Okay, let's dive right in. First up, let's get the core premise down. You see, every single effective horror story needs a clear set of rules, and believe me, this one is no exception. Now, what's really important to get is that this isn't some ancient myth passed down for generations. This is a story for our time. It was basically born and raised on YouTube, using animation and sound design to get under your skin in a way old campfire tales just couldn't. And here are the rules of the curse. Check this out. It's so specific. The place, an abandoned railway station. The time, exactly 9 p.m. on a new moon night. The event, the sound of wedding drums. The victim, always one unmarried girl. And here's the kicker. If you're caught outside and you see the procession, you're taken too. This isn't random. It's a ritual. These rules create this perfect framework of dread. You know what's coming, and that anticipation is a huge part of the fear. So, with the rules established, let's look a little deeper. Why does a story about a ghostly procession feel kind of familiar but still so terrifying? Well, it's because it's built from these timeless components of fear. To understand this, we've got to talk about tropes. Now, a trope isn't just a cliché. Think of it more like a narrative shortcut. It's a device that connects a story to this deep, shared pool of cultural anxiety. You could almost call it the DNA of storytelling. For instance, the Bhutia Barat, which is a terrifying idea in South Asian folklore, actually shares its core DNA with the wild hunt from European mythology. A ghostly parade on a specific night? Check. Abducts mortals? Check. A dire warning not to look? Double check. It just goes to show you that the fear of a supernatural procession coming to steal people away is a universal human terror, just wrapped in different cultural clothing. Of course, a great monster needs a great cast of characters to react to it. The people in this story aren't just random villagers. They are perfectly crafted archetypes, and each one plays a vital role in building the story. You can think of these characters as essential gears in the story's fear-making machine. You've got Suresh Kaka, the Elder. He's the one who lays down the law explaining the curse. Then there's Mangal, the rebel, the kid who breaks the rules and decides to watch, making him our eyes and ears for the horror. And then there's Priya, the skeptic from the city. She represents our disbelief, which makes her the absolute perfect tragic victim when the folklore turns out to be horrifyingly real. Okay, let's see how all these elements, the rules, the tropes, the characters, all collide in the story's climax. This is where the craftsmanship really shines. The story builds the horror so methodically. First, there's an eerie silence. All the natural sounds just stop. Then the drums begin, getting louder and louder. Then comes the reveal, a gruesome procession with twisted, distorted faces. Next, the abduction. It's swift, it's brutal, and Priya is taken. And finally, the vanishing. They don't just fade into the woods. A ghostly train appears out of thin air and takes them all, cementing the fact that this is not of our world. This moment from the story is the terrifying peak. The ghostly train isn't just a vehicle, it's a symbol. It shows up on tracks that have been abandoned for decades, representing a destination from which there is absolutely no return. So let's zoom out. Why has this particular story, in this particular format, been so successful? Well, the answer lies in the unique power of digital folklore. The story is constantly emphasizing that number, 70 years. And that's not just a random detail. It's a deliberate choice to give the story a sense of history and inevitability. This isn't a new threat. It's a terrifying tradition, a generational curse that feels ancient and unstoppable, even though you're probably hearing about it for the very first time on a modern device. I mean, think about it. In the past, a story like this might be told around a campfire, reaching a handful of people. Later, maybe it would appear in a book. But on a platform like YouTube, it can reach millions of people all over the globe instantly. The scale and the speed of digital distribution gives modern folklore a power that is completely unprecedented. And this is why this all matters so much. The way we tell scary stories has fundamentally changed. It's not just that digital folklore is more accessible, available 24/7 on your phone. It's that it's more potent. The animation blurs that line between fiction and reality, while the sound and visuals create a full sensory experience a book just can't replicate. And the comment section, that becomes a new kind of digital campfire, where viewers from all over the world can gather to share their fear and build a community around the legend. Which really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? We live in this age of science and information, where mysteries get solved every single day. So why are we still so drawn to these digital ghosts? What ancient primal need for the unknown, for the terrifying, and for that shared campfire story does this new kind of folklore actually fulfill for us?